Welcome to Scoop News Group series on the new business of government. I'm Wyatt Cash, and today we're with Frank Konieczny, CTO of the U.S. Air Force. Frank, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I want to talk a little about data today, and in particular, the fact that agencies are dealing with more data than ever before. First, how easy or hard is it to get to, and more importantly, make sense of all that data?
It really depends on who you want to ask the data from. The functional organizations, for instance, like HR, believes they have all the data and have all the answers and everything else. However, when you go across functional areas, then you get into problems because there's not one SME that actually understands both sides. And so that becomes more difficult when you're trying to combine different functional data sets together, as well as figuring out when they combine them together, is this data really good or is it really meaningful? So that's been the problem all along. That's the problem we continuously have.
Well, next, so you mentioned one of the challenges that many agencies face, just dealing with the combination of data. Tell us a little more about executing on planning, budgeting, forecasting activities, and the challenges agencies face on that front.
This is always lots of fun because a lot of this is because of the budgeting cycle that we have to go through in DoD.
Yes.
And the issue always is how can I plan for the future when I have to plan 2 to 3 to 5 years out when things change dramatically right away. So for instance, the IT environment changes, we have missions that occur like instantaneously, and so how can you plan for that? And that's one of the problems we have right now, and how we would actually use some data analytics to just do some of that predictive planning. But then again, it's more of a exercise in determining what we really could possibly have to do, as opposed to actually executing a particular budget, because we are stuck with the budget we have every year. And so it's really difficult to actually do this for more than 2 years out.
Well, we hear a lot about making data-driven decisions today. So tell us a little more about how the Air Force is helping managers make more data-driven decisions, and particularly around things like budgets and forecasting.
Well, we just set up a chief data office and an interim chief data officer just a month or so ago. And we've been working on this for a while because we had this problem. We realized we had this problem. And this office is supposed to actually help. It has to be help in the determination of what is an authoritative data source, what are the authoritative data sources that we have across all the functional domains, how you would actually put them together, how would you actually do a governance capability to support data-driven decisions out there, and eventually get to the point where we have a firm foundation of what data is in the Air Force and how you can do some analytics and predictions and everything else associated with that data.
And one last question, and that is, it seems like we've grown up in an era where we needed data analysts and almost data scientists to plumb through what all that data is saying. But how do we get agencies and folks at the management level to be able to make their own decisions and analyze information to make day-to-day decisions?
Well, that's one of the reasons why we set up the data office the way it is. The data office for us is a service organization. It is not doing the work of all the other two later functionals that we have, purposely because we didn't want to replicate all the work. And so a lot of it is coming in with a foundation of saying, we'll provide some, if you tell us what data you want, we'll get it for you, and you can do the analysis. And we're actually setting up a catalog of what's been done already and how people can actually get into that catalog and get the data, as long as they have authorization to get the data, which is another big deal that we always have, because you just can't grab data out of the Air Force. But as we progress down this path, we'll have a catalog, we'll have people, we'll actually probably allow some people, some data analysts, to actually get into the real data as opposed to people in the data office, but they're going to have to be really good at it because we know there's a lot of problems with producing data that's erroneous because you just mashed it together.
Well, a lot of challenges, but it certainly seems like a lot more opportunities to make better decisions faster with all that data.
Yep.
Well, terrific. Well, Frank, thank you for coming by, sharing some of what you're doing over at the U.S. Air Force. And for more information on the new business of government, look on our website. I'm Wyatt Cash. Thanks for watching.